Good morning, Mike.
Good morning, Tyson. Tyler. Not Tyson. Tyler.
What is your deal? How many years have we done?
Dude, I'm just a little off today. My bad.
I mean, Tyson's a good-looking dude. I get it. I get it for sure. It's early for us. We've never done it at. This is like 8:45 for me in the morning. We're literally drinking coffee together. We're coming up with topics, and once again, we both stopped and said, "What are we doing? Why are we trying to come up with topics? It's always on the fly."
It's so much better when we just do it impromptu, off the cuff. It's more natural, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've gotten some comments lately from people, off air, of our chemistry together.
Okay.
So I completely.
I wasn't good in chemistry. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think a good thing, because a lot of people, a lot of guys do stuff together, and we have different opinions, but it all works out on some things. We have similar opinions on others, and I think that makes just for an entertaining show. Hopefully you're entertained out there and maybe educated a little bit too.
That's right. Well, let's stop stroking our ego. Let's start talking about some sports cards and some sports stuff. Let's address the topic we all want to talk about. Josh Luber, Fanatics. I mean, we've been itching to talk about this one all weekend.
Well, not surprising.
For folks that didn't know, Josh Luber didn't move out of his role. He's actually still in the chief vision officer role. They just brought in a new CEO, Mike Mahan. I mean, they almost nailed you, Mike Moynihan. They were so close.
Well, they called, but the money wasn't good enough. So
yeah, exactly. So Mike is going to be leading. He's going to be leading the Tops, the Candy Digital, and the Zero Cool stuff. Focused on the pop culture, entertainment, sports, everything there. Reporting directly to Ruben, and then Luber will stay in his chief vision officer role and will remain kind of overseeing some of the Zero Cool stuff. So thoughts on that? I mean, I'm actually surprised Josh is still there. That's my immediate reaction.
Me too. I think letting him be in a lane is probably smart for them to say, look, he can't handle all of it. Let's get him back where we wanted him to be in terms of what his role is. I mean, Fanatics is in no doubt on their way to wanting to rule the sports card world, every facet, every aspect. That is their goal. Complete domination is their goal of the sports card market. And so grading and everything's coming down the pipe, right?
Yep.
We've been saying this for a while. And, vaults and all of it. They're going to do all of it. And selling platforms, you name it, like it's coming. And so having a CEO to oversee that, and I think you'll have Luber and other guys that are people that are expertises in different areas,
right,
take over these divisions within their sports card empire. I think that's all just coming over the next 2 years. Probably they'll, do one piece, then add another piece, and then, right. And that comes.
I totally agree. I think this is the time to explore, dabble, figure out where they want to take this. And we also need to put ourselves in context of like the calendar. We're 4 weeks out from the National, so it's very normal to see this kind of influx of news. We saw it with the Beckett CEO 2 weeks ago. We saw this with Fanatics. We'll probably see some more big news over the next few weeks leading into the National, so that's not so awkward, would be my guess.
Yeah.
Actually, it's not small news what eBay is doing with the vault and everything else. I wouldn't be surprised if their eBay Live platform gets released leading into the National as well. Because, what better place to go out there and start running auctions live than at the National? So I'm buckle up, right, for the next 4 weeks. The best part about the National is leading up to it for me.
Oh, yeah. You just have all these people wanting to make a splash, right? That's the idea. Sometimes it fizzles, right? Oh, we're
Right.
going to make this big announcement at the National, and ends up being a non-event, doesn't move the needle kind of thing.
Yeah.
But not in our hobby today. I think there's too much money at stake. There's too much going on. People want to make a splash, and that's the place to do it.
Yeah. It might be in light of our Hobbypalooza. I didn't even think about that. It probably is more in line with that than the National. Makes perfect sense.
You know, actually, now that you say that, that makes more. I mean, Hobbypalooza is a bigger event than the National.
Yeah.
But
yeah, for sure.
Sarcasm inserted here. No, we are excited about Hobbypalooza, though. It's coming up this weekend. We've got, so much great content creators, great guests, great topics. It's going to be so much fun. You can catch it all right here on Bench Clear Media. We're going to have individual live streams set up later this week for each individual content creator. You'll be able just to click. If you want to watch only one person, whenever their time is slotted, you'll be able to click on that link and see them live for their hour-long stream.
So, for those that don't know, you can find the full schedule, benchclear.us. I'm very excited. Yeah, you can find the full schedule, benchclear.us, Hobbypalooza 2022. And we'll have a link directly below for you to click on. And links for every one of those shows will be inserted, but you can just hang out the channel and you'll be good.
Yeah, just hang out at the channel.
Hang out at the channel. Come hang.
I feel like my Wi-Fi is not cooperating right now.
It's not, but you know what? Again, I just roll with this. You're in Dallas. I'm in the middle of nowhere. But yet your Wi-Fi is the one always screwing up.
I'm telling you.
It's one of those days. I get it.
Yeah.
What would you say in terms of Palooza real quick? What should folks be most excited about? Obviously seeing content creators, but we're doing a giveaway this year and we're doing it very unique, in a unique way. You want to kind of dangle the carrot a little bit about how we're doing it?
Yeah, so we have, thanks to the generosity of our friends over at Panini, we have a bunch of cool boxes that we're going to be giving away. We're going to do that actually the Monday after Palooza on a special episode of On the Fly. Here comes Norman coming in.
There he is. He likes prizes too.
He does. He's like, dude, he goes over and just chills out on the couch. The way we're going to do it this year is a little bit different. We're going to actually raffle off the prizes, meaning as you're watching live streams over the weekend, if you super chat at least $5, every $5 that you super chat, you'll get a raffle ticket. And first of all, people that don't know, super chats, Google keeps most of the money, which is funny. But the rest of that, we're going to be donating to Signatures for Soldiers, which is a great nonprofit within the hobby, does stuff for our veterans. And so that's where the proceeds from that are going to go. And that way there's kind of, we can do something great for Signatures for Soldiers. And otherwise it's so hard and so difficult to do this, to account for everything and count for everything. So this is a way we're going to do it. So it'll be all weekend, every live stream, super chat, and that gets you in the raffle to win the boxes, which will draw those from the raffle tickets on Monday. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Are we 100% all in Signatures for Soldiers? I thought we had a couple other potential organizations as well.
Well, you tell me.
That's up. I guess we'll figure that out by Friday. But yeah, it'll be nearly all of it will be donated to some really cool organizations that we want your money to go behind, and it's a good way to show your support for what we're doing at Bench Clear and Hobbypalooza, but more importantly for the organizations that we're trying to call out and take care of.
Yeah, it's not for us.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. Unfortunately, once again.
It's okay.
It's all good. It's all good. You and I, we were just talking about our schedule before this, how we're like squeezing it into our weekend to make this work. And it's just going to be total insanity. And I can't wait to see how we pull it off, because we will pull it off.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
we got it though. We'll
we got
get
it.
it done.
So let me ask you this. I was thinking about this morning at the gym. I was, squatting a few thousand pounds and benching and
Sure.
everything. Yep.
Sure.
What do you think a year from now? So we're in June, entering July 2023. What do you think we'll look back on and say were the most controversial topics in the hobby a year later? I know it's a big question, and
Wow.
it's totally on the fly, but I was thinking about, okay, as we start to predict how this might play out, what are the concerns that we have, and does this end up being controversial? Is there anything that kind of comes to mind you think be very heads up on this because this doesn't look like it's going to end well?
Oh man. Overprinting of product feels
Okay.
like that's going to be, number one. How is Fanatics going to pull off consolidating all these different things, Tops, Panini, into one organization? What are they going to keep? What are they not going to keep in terms of product lines?
Yeah.
Those things seem like they could stir up some controversy.
Do you think, so let me place some odds on this. Do you think it's a less than or more than 50% chance that Fanatics 1 year from now starts to sell off some of the assets under the collectibles umbrella?
Less than 50%.
Less than 50%? So
Yeah,
you think
that's not
they'll
enough
wait?
time for them to figure out that they screwed up Royal, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to want to admit that. Ruben is not going to want to admit that, whoa, we way overpaid for this, or we way overestimated the market, or whatever. That's not enough time.
Yeah, that's fair. What do you think the likelihood is that the majority of people that invested in fractional share platforms, let's just say
NFTs.
NFTs, of course, analytics platforms, a year from now are regretting their decision to do that?
I think that'll be over 50% if that's the if that's the bar we're using. I think it's over 50% now, probably.
Yeah.
If it's not, it should be. Fads in the hobby come and go, right? Yeah. I'm not saying there won't be an analytics platform out there. I think there will be people that use that. To me, I think Card Ladder is going to win the day just because PSA is behind them, and in terms of analytics tools, I think the fractional share thing is a fad. I think NFTs are obviously a fad, and fads die fiery deaths. I've said that last week, couple weeks ago, whatever.
Yeah.
It's not pretty when fads become bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so what got me thinking about it was I think we're going to look back a year from now and people are going to be frustrated with themselves that they went all in on a fractional, share platform instead of like buying a physical asset. They're going to be frustrated that they trusted analytics platforms in a very tumultuous like data analytics environment back like a foundation like eBay, where we know a lot of that's shilled and it's not accurate. And it didn't allow people to interpret the data the right way. So I think those two things are going to be really killer. And obviously there's so many platforms now that provide this stuff. I actually end up thinking like eBay will be the de facto standard for the data platform. They own it.
Right.
They're going to, all they have to do is shut it off to the rest of the world and say, hey, we got the data. Go sell on your own platform if you want the data.
Right.
Like that's going to happen. But if I was to look back right now and say, what do people probably regret and what's very controversial in the hobby? I would say people trusted talking heads over the last year and a half and realized they didn't know anything. And we're on a YouTube channel here talking, right? So I think it's the irony in this is hilarious, but
well, it's not ironic in the sense that we're not pumping any certain thing or, hey, go do this, don't do that. we're just, first of all, people need to think for themselves, right? I mean, you can get maybe an idea or it might spark something, but then shame on you if you just take them at their word and don't do any of your own due diligence. That's, caveat emptor, right? Buyer beware. And
Yeah.
I just feel that people need to collect what they like and collect what makes them happy. And if it happens to make them money, great, kind of thing. Or if you're doing it as a business, again, do it your own, do it your own way.
Yeah.
Not some other person's way that you heard talking on YouTube about it. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Did you say idea? Not idea?
Idea? An idea?
Okay. I thought you said idea.
No,
what are you,
probably
90 now?
No. I enunciate. All right,
Yes,
try to enunciate. Okay.
You do, with that silky smooth voice. Yeah, I totally agree. It's kind of fun to think about, though, because I think you and I we're able to step back a little bit because we don't do some of those things, and we hear a lot of feedback from various people in the hobby. I think next year there's going to be a whole lot of regret in a lot of people. At the same time, people are going to realize, gosh darn it, there was a whole lot of opportunity, and I didn't take advantage of it.
All right, let me ask you this. A year from now, where's the card show environment? Are there more shows, less shows, same amount in terms of that?
I think there's less shows. And the shows that do exist will probably be as popular, maybe a little less popular. I get more concerned about society issues driving down like the likability of going on site to a card show. We're getting way too deep now, right? But just, you see the things bubbling up in big cities with violence and everything else. And the last thing you want to be doing right now in some of those cities is carrying around your high dollar sports cards.
Okay.
I think people will feel that more so next year versus this year.
Interesting. So you think that societal unrest is going to increase as I mean, a driver of that could be the economic environment, which I think is only going to get worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
Right. People are going to be rioting in this. That's so hard to say that. But you're going to see some protests potentially and some other things on economic issues that people are dealing with. And that, again, the economic issues themselves a year from now, none of us know where we're going to be economically a year from now. But if I had to put red or black, put a chip down on a table to choose one of those, I would say worse than we are now versus better.
Yeah.
And because I don't see a way it does get better. And I do this for a living. Like, my job is to look for opportunities, to look for things where, okay, where's an opportunity, over the next 6 to 12 months that we could take advantage of. And it's a dry, it's a desert.
Yeah. Well, and I think people think sometimes that if it's not declining, then it's getting better. And that's totally not the truth, right? Like status quo or slow drip, slow decline is just as bad as like us dropping 20% in the market tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because it's elongated. It's hard to recover from it. You don't get momentum. Those things matter. And they start to create this idea of like discouragement and frustration that is hard to recover from. It takes a long time to recover from.
Yeah. Despondence is a true thing. And I've shown it, the life cycle of anything, the way you feel about it. And we're getting close to despondent. That doesn't mean it ends quickly, right? It can stay there. And wow, we're getting really deep and depressing now. This is not like the tone.
This is not depressing because, like, I keep saying this to people, and you've said it before too. This shouldn't be discouraging to you, because out of this and in this is when some incredible ideas come out from, like, when you become refined and when you like take the next step to be a better version of yourself. You have to respond to this. You do, as a person, as a family, as a human being. So yeah, that's a little deep. But like for real though, seriously, like we for all the stuff that we know is probably going to happen, there's going to be exponentially more good things that come out of it if you apply yourself during this time.
Yeah,
Sport
and keeping them in understanding the mentality. This will end. Like as bad as things feel or are or will be, this isn't forever. Everything's temporary. Uh, the market will go back up. The hobby's not going anywhere. All the, so many different factors. When you think about it, it's a blip,
Yeah.
It's a blip on the radar, and it's no fun in the middle of it and in the midst. I get it, but it's still just that. It's a temporary thing.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So I mean, it's funny because you hear a little bit of the buzz around, fresh release products like Prism Football. Of course, you hear that, and you hear it portrayed the same way every single release, and it just kills me that people don't learn, or they like the new people coming in have no idea. Oh my gosh, this Mac Jones Color Blast was listed for 15 grand and it wasn't paid for. And the next one sold for 7 grand. It's a shilled market. And prices are falling. Oh my gosh. Guys, this is the norm. This has happened since you and I started collecting. Like it always happens. None of that stuff will ever change. Regardless of the economic conditions, people will still get sucked into that world and be frustrated, and
they will
think it's get rich quick and realize it's not.
Did you hear about the newest player that announced that he's building a sports card collection?
Tell me who.
Mike Trout.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. He has a son doing it or something, right?
Yeah, he was on Sunday Night Baseball, I think, and talked about it while he was mic'd up or something.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. I saw his PSA 10 rookie, his Topps update rookie is sub 2,000 now.
Wow.
I didn't actually validate that, but I saw some tweets about it. Like, how is this below 2 grand? That's crazy. That's the one that I would have missed on. I grabbed some Trouts. I didn't grab that update rookie, but I grabbed some Trouts and everything's down still. That is pretty surprising.
I think that's still going to be he's having a great year. The Angels are a dumpster fire, but he's having a great year. And yeah.
Yeah. What else? What's that?
We have a new NBA champion since last week.
My goodness. So in your mind, where do you put Steph in all-time greats?
Certainly top 10. You could argue top 5 of all time.
Yep. Oh yeah. I mean, top 5, number 1 shooter of all time.
For sure.
And top 5 player of all time in my mind. I mean, and the funny thing is, like, we get caught up in like the Durant, the LeBron James, and like the modern Giannis, the modern day best player. And like here, I mean, Steph Curry, it's not even close. Like Steph Curry is the best modern day player of our generation.
I would say LeBron is better.
Heck no. What would be your arguments for that?
Finals appearances. I guess it's pretty close now, right?
Yeah, very close.
I think.
Go ahead.
I think Steph could pass LeBron because Steph's, still got 4, 5, 6 more years, I would guess. LeBron's got 1 or 2 at the most, and those aren't going to be, super high impact years. Probably he's, playing out the string, trying to play with his son or something,
Yeah.
But the reality is, it's if you were to just name your top 5, put them in whatever order you want, it's got to include Jordan. It's going to include LeBron, I would think. Steph, maybe. Wilt. Kobe. Right?
Yeah, I was trying to pull up some relevant stats, but we didn't prepare for that one, so I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole.
But
But
Steph for sure.
The fact that Steph has won, how many has he won against LeBron? Two or three?
I think like 2.
Yeah, it's either 2 or 3 where he's beat LeBron in the finals at least 2 times, maybe 3 times. Like that to me in itself is worth a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, this finals, this playoff run that he went through with the Warriors. First of all, no one really thought they could win this year.
Yeah.
They just thought it was they'll be good, and he showed that no, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a great team, and Draymond and Clay and all those guys, it's a team effort, right? But Steph is the man with that team. Is the man.
So it's 4 rings to 4 rings right now.
Okay.
LeBron, Steph. And I mean, stat wise, you can make a case for either one. Obviously, outside of shooting, LeBron owns the other stat categories against the two. But I feel like when it comes, it's that close to neck and neck, and you look at likability and like a face of a franchise, a face of a team, like the fact that like Steph has stayed with the Warriors and has like built that deep credibility, to me, I think goes a long way in helping solidify him as a better player. And in my book,
no doubt, Steph has the better story. If you were just to say, tell a story of a basketball player that would appeal to you, Steph has that story. LeBron, the whole. I remember watching the decision, and all of this, and him moving Cleveland to Miami, back to Cleveland to LA.
Yeah.
All the drama that went with that, and nobody wants to play with him, and It's tiresome.
Yeah.
Right. Steph's had this consistent story, great story, guy coming out of Davidson, great NCAA player, just turned it, in the NBA, just hit another level of amazing. Right.
Yeah.
So, and he was really good in college too. Like
For sure.
He was no slouch. He took Davidson to the Sweet 16, Final Four, maybe? I can't remember.
No, Sweet 16. Maybe Elite 8. You're right.
It's a lot of basketball talk for an on the fly episode.
We've been doing that lately. This is good. I'm really stretching you a little bit. I like this.
Well, I think it surprises people that I know anything about basketball. Maybe, but I love, again, you can love all sports. It doesn't mean you collect all sports. Like did you watch the US Open, by the way, this weekend?
I did not.
Oh my gosh. It was fantastic. Yesterday was amazing. The final day, all this back and forth of who's on top and people bogeying and then birdieing, and ended up going to an Englishman. Matt Fitzpatrick won the US Open over Will Zalatoris, who I was really rooting for. He's a local guy here, and really wanted Zalatoris to win. He had a putt at the end to send it to a playoff and missed it. So it was riveting, as much as golf can be riveting, probably for non-golf fans. But
yeah,
there's a great crop of players, very similar to baseball. Lots of young, great players in golf, and they just hit the ball a mile and can shape their shots and all kinds of great stuff. Golf is exciting right now. We got one more major, the British Open, next month, and
awesome.
That'll be fun. So
yeah,
you don't mention any of it. That's depressing to me.
A lot going on with the fam. Gotta handle it.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, so let's wrap this up. Let's talk a little bit about what's coming out this week. Obviously, Hobbypalooza on this channel. Today we have a Chasing Cardboard grading episode. We're starting a new little segment called the Report Card, and I'm just updating folks on 3 cards or 4 cards that came back this week and what we were thinking when we bought it from a collection. So
that's awesome.
But next week, that bad boy.
Hey, I'm wearing the same hat. That's kind of cool.
Hey, look, I rotate 3 hats through every episode. It's hilarious. I can't wait for folks to see that episode next week. And this is a screenshot from you at the ranch, and it's going to be really good. The final cut's awesome. I'm super stoked for it, man.
I haven't seen the final cut. I need to go watch the final cut.
Or maybe you should. Maybe you should be surprised with everybody else. I provided some feedback to Matt. I said, try to cut 90% of Mike out, and I think we're good.
Okay. That's a brilliant thing to do. Obviously.
Yeah, right.
I'm excited. That's next Monday. That'll air, right?
A week from today when you see, whatever that is, the 27th.
Yeah. And then I've got obviously we got Hobbypalooza, but I've got a Golden Age of Cardboard episode. First of all, thanks. So much great response from last week's episode of Golden Age.
Amazing episode.
This vintage 100 index, we get it's not perfect. We've gotten a lot of feedback privately as well as publicly on the comments, and some good feedback, constructive feedback that we're trying to incorporate some things into that. But this week I've got the famous Mike O on Golden Age of Cardboard making his Golden Age of Cardboard debut.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's like I
feel like he's been on like 10 times. How's that possible?
Miko has never been on the podcast.
Oh my gosh.
I actually, believe it or not, you can go listen to the podcast right now. I accidentally released it and I don't want to take it off now, but the video won't air until Wednesday. But the podcast is available now on all your favorite podcast platforms. So you can go listen to the sweet, sounds of Mike O's voice. But yeah, we recorded that last night. By the way, happy Father's Day to you, sir. And,
you as well.
Yeah, that's coming out. I think Tyson's doing a video this week. Behind the numbers. Does that sound right?
Sounds right. Sounds right.
Are you doing any other content or just chasing carp? I mean, good grief.
Yeah. It's been tough to balance all that. I mean, honestly, right? There's a lot that goes into all that. People, some of you guys watching know, you can understand it, but it's really tough.
Yeah.
I have been working on a couple episodes, but it's like me presenting, and I'm trying to balance out the way to help people see what I'm trying to say. I'm working on an episode, and the title of it, I'm working backwards from a title. What I learned after interviewing 200 people in the sports card industry. Because over the last 7 years, it was like interview. And I'm looking back through my notes thinking like, what was my takeaway? And there was so many things that I learned. And like, you can look back on now and they're applicable to the sports car world, but they're also applicable to like people that want to just hustle and run a business. And there's some pretty good learnings. And so I thought about like just doing it for Hobbypalooza, as a presentation, but we'll see. It's not quite done yet, but the topic should be really fun. You're stuck. Go figure.
I'm here.
There he is.
I know.
But I was on never mind, I won't say it because I don't think it's official yet. There's a couple episodes I was on for podcasts the next couple weeks. So we'll see when it releases.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a few guest appearances I'm doing as well on some other stuff. You'll see us out there, man. We're out there. We're hustling. That's right. Norman just keeps coming back and forth. I don't know what his deal is, but he can't get settled. I think he's unsettled right now. But
he's like, Dad, we got to go, man. Let's roll.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get out of here. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll catch you next week. Keep collecting.
Sounds good. See ya.